Hey, I hope you're not time wasting, you. I've got a dozen people waiting to look at this place. Hey, come on, let's get this lease signed, eh?
Human Centipede II.
Ben Mankiewicz, Christy Lemire, Grae Drake, What the Flick. This is a film that Grae calls the first one came out in 2010?
Yeah.
You said that this was the most talked about film of 2010.
Easily.
By whom?
Everyone.
Okay.
People who like insects and poop.
Right. All right, so this is the second Human Centipede. It is unlike anything you'll ever see.
Yeah, that's true. So the sequel to the most talked about movie of 2010.
Never had a conversation about it.
Who do you hang out
Who
with?
are your friends?
Lame people.
Gamblers.
Don't have their finger on the pulse. Just no.
Hookers.
Directed by Tom Six, a man who I genuinely hope has 5 men attached to him. Human Centipede II focuses on a new creepy dude who wants to provide himself with 12 opportunities to make diapers and cut into people. He's a man that's inspired by the first film, and so Tom Six is going all postmodern in this one. And here is the trailer for it.
There we go.
Martin, I'm here today because your mother is very worried about you.
He keeps on talking about a centipede with 12 people. What does that mean?
What are you looking at?
Maybe he's connecting the pain that a centipede inflicts with the psychological and sexual abuse inflicted on him by his father. There's nothing to worry about. I'm sure it's just a passing phase.
Oh my lord.
See, Grae is all worked up about this because Grae can't quite find the right words to express how deeply moved you were moved.
Look, this is the internet, so I think we have to take advantage of that. Like, I think, and because you're so into it, I mean, I think we have to describe sort of the whole concept because that's what people talked about if they had I had one conversation about the first one. If they talked about the first one, they were talking about the thing that happens.
The thing that happens is, in the first movie, Dieter Laser is the genius doctor who misses a dog that he made that is 3 dogs sewn together, ass to mouth. And
Jesus Christ!
Your friends are boring.
With dogs, it's truly shocking. They're Rottweilers.
I know.
Who
dogs.
talks that way?
Peter was so mad. So he misses his dog. He decides to recreate it with 3 unsuspecting people that he has found. And the second movie is the answer to that, like upping the ante. It's 12 this time. It's 12 goddamn people sewn together by another creepy dude that's not the dude from the first one. It's a new creepy dude.
Who likes the first one? Who watches the first movie.
All
yes,
day.
and here's this movie has me upside down, and not for the reasons that you would think.
Okay.
It is horrible to watch. It's just as brutal and disturbing as everyone has heard.
It's worse. It's more brutal than the first one.
But
Yeah.
I feel like Tom Six is Dutch and purposeful, and he didn't do anything on accident. And this movie is like a comment about, oh, you guys, you thought the first one was medically accurate, and you thought it was sick? Well, look what I can do now. You're retarded if you think it's medically accurate. This is, just as the trailer said, inaccurate, in your face, pregnant ladies everywhere.
Yeah.
Done and done.
I just think he needed to push it like there is a tendency with genre movies, like the Saw movies and any kind of torture porn, to show people what they haven't seen before. What can be the most shocking beyond like a pregnant woman she's not at the front. I'm not gonna say what happens to her. I'm not gonna say what happens to her.
She was at the front.
But yeah, and there's people getting their heads bashed in
A lot of people.
Crowbar.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And then they twitch and then go into sort of they hear a death rattle, except then he just puts duct tape around their head and apparently they're fine
Right,
20 minutes
Truly
later.
a triumph of the human body and soul because they have horrible head wounds they survive.
Yeah, the key apparently to doing triage in a battlefield is duct tape.
Duct tape. It's
If you
multi-purpose.
can't duck it.
But the thing is that there is no rhyme or reason to the killing. There's no sense of justice. I mean, the tubby dude, Martin, who is played by, who do we determine he's played by?
Well, he's played by Lawrence R. Oh, for the love of God.
course,
Lawrence R. Harvey.
It's not like he's going after people who are bad for
Yeah.
vindication.
It's
like,
not the Lawrence Harvey in the Manchurian Candidate.
No, he's going to let himself go.
Whole new movie at that
but
point.
he kills, well, he abducts.
This is Lawrence
White
Harvey's.
people, black people.
There's his filmography.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one. It's
We gotta
it's
figure out who this guy
There's
is.
nothing
Just
there.
this movie.
There's nothing there. There's only one.
It's just that. And he's covered with a thin sheen of sweat the entire film that I could practically smell.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there is a precise Dutch purpose to this, as you are
I feel like there
theorizing.
is.
I'm not sure. I think it's just shocking us for shock's sake and saying, how can you push it farther? Like, everybody was shocked by the first one. What can be more shocking? Pregnant people.
I definitely think that is true. I do think that's true. I think Tom Six knows exactly how to up the ante because we're in for another one. You know this is a trilogy.
Oh, well, so wait, this is the full sequence, though.
36.
Oh my God.
We're gonna
Just like
we're
Lord
gonna,
of the Rings, you have to watch them all.
Then we're gonna do prime numbers after that. 17.
Look. This conversation is why. Look, I think clearly he knows what he's doing. He's
Yes.
a very competent filmper. It looks nice. It's shot in black and white, so we
Thank
take,
God.
so we take it seriously.
So
and
you
have
can't
these,
see any of the bodily fluids in their colors.
But it's just silly. It's silly and it's really, really boring.
It's really boring and really repetitive.
Really repetitive.
Because it's 12 people
And
now.
it's just
Right.
gross, and I don't know what the point could be other than I have an opportunity to make this movie again, and I liked it when people talked about it in 2010,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do it in 2011. Clearly a very competent filmmaker, and there's no writing, there's no story that matters except this sort of brutal torture porn, and I don't think it's cool and what was upsetting to me, aside from being bored, I wasn't so much grossed out, although there were moments that you look away. This is an entire hour and a half movie with people about to be murdered, knowing they're about to be murdered, lying naked, duct tape, writhing on the floor, moaning in the background, and their death throes, knowing they're thinking about their kids and they're people they're never going to see again. They're not all hideous people. Some of them are good people. It's awful, man. It was a waste of time.
And the first one's actually really good. The first one's
like
it's shot beautifully, and there's like an elegance to the simplicity of the storytelling, and it's so unlike the screechy new horror movies with the quick cuts and the like it's really subtle and suspenseful, and it's beautiful.
There are no cheap scares in the first one.
No.
The only cheapness is the subject matter, and he gets around that by making a really well done film. And like you said, he's a great filmmaker, and it's. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm upside down because it's not a good film, but I'm sure he accomplished what he set out to do, which I think is something deeper than create torture porn. I think that he's a little bit smarter than that.
I don't doubt it, but that ends up being sort of what we're, I think, in the end, what we're left with. Did the first one, which I didn't see, did the first one have the laxatives?
No.
You know, and that part of it. So,
Yeah.
Everything that I liked.
Everything's amped up
Here's
this
what,
time.
what I specifically liked about the first one as well is that every chance it had to be gratuitous, it wasn't.
Yeah, well, this-
and this
is.
completely threw that out the
Every
window
time.
and disappointed me for that reason.
Every opportunity.
Every single one.
It does, yeah.
Even ones I didn't want. And sometimes I want them.
Yeah.
Full disclosure.
All right, let's do some numbers. Gray?
God,
12.
I don't know what to say. I said 6 because I don't know what else to say. Because
But 6 is almost a recommendation.
it almost is.
Almost.
If you want to see the movie, if you're curious, then 6, yeah.
But
'cause
you
I mean,
think it's definitely sort of, if you're going to see it, it's part. You see the first one too. It's part of that.
absolutely.
You have
And
to.
I will never watch this film again, whereas Human Centipede 1 I will show to people and we will discuss it as a learning tool.
I give it a 3. How to sew people together ass to mouth.
That one's medically accurate.
I'm giving it a 3 because, yeah, it's just boring. It's just repetitive. It's just a drag.
If you saw the first one, I agree. If you saw the first one, you clearly care to see this one because it mattered to you. If you didn't see the first one, this is a complete, giant, upsetting, torture, pornish waste of time.
And yet, culturally, like, should people go see it because they saw the first one and need to see this one to see what it's about?
No, they don't.
All right, I'm just putting that out there as
Go
a theory.
to see something else.
Putting it out there.
Read one of those newspapers that apparently still exist.
Truly at your own risk.
I gave it a 0. So come on.
Goose egg.
What is the other one you gave 0 to? It was something else that you were really appalled
Hottie and the
by.
Naughty.
Oh, I did. Well, let's see.
There was something else you were really appalled by. There was like one scene.
Yeah, because there was some sexualization of there was some like they turned rape. That was Last House on the Left. They turned rape titillating. I didn't care.
The remake of Last House on the
I
Left.
had a huge problem with the remake of the Last House on the Left.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spit on your grave. That wasn't very titillating, though.
Okay, so anyway, I gave it a
Torture
0.
porn.
630, the overall rating for Human Centipede II with Lawrence R. Harvey is a 3.
The R stands for awesome.
Bye, thanks. Human Centipede!